The weirdest of cryptids walks on into Sola. Welcome trainers, you're with PewterCityJim, and today we're adding more critters to the Sola Fakedex. For those who are new or unfamiliar, welcome. Sola is this channel's Fakemon project where we're creating a region based on Southern California and some of the surrounding areas. As of the last few episodes, we're looking at Fakemon that inhabit the northern wild area, which is forests and mountains. On this channel, we do a lot of Let's Play stuff and some other Fakemon creation for contests, prompt challenges, and collaborative projects like Voyard and the Fakemon Ultra Collab. If any of this sounds fun to you, and I sure hope it does, it would be awesome if you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, and say hi in the comments. You are welcome here. Anyway, if you've been with the Sola region for a while, you might remember my first ever entry into the Fakemon Ultra Collab back in 2022. If not, I'll put a link in the description. I created UV Stare, otherwise known as Vigilum, the Dark Watcher Pokemon. There were several cryptids that I wanted to look at for California though. Nick. Yikes. One of my favorites is the Fresno Nightcrawler, which is like sentient pants. I'm definitely coming back to that one as a Pokemon, don't worry. That's right! Today we're taking a shot at the Fresno Nightcrawler. Today's design is an evolution of the one that almost made its way into that initial Fakemon collab almost 2 years ago. Fresno's iconic cryptid was first seen in 2007 by a man identified only as Jose. He had surveillance cameras up around his property, and one evening he decided to check in on the one aiming at his front yard because his dogs were going crazy. He managed to capture grainy footage of a 4-foot-tall, light gray creature that was all legs and little else. He was scared and took the footage to Univision and the paranormal investigator Victor Camacho. Despite gaining quite a bit of publicity, appearing in the Spanish-language paranormal show Los Desvelados, no one could identify this bizarre being. In 2011, in Yosemite National Park, security cameras once again caught sight of the Fresno Nightcrawler. This time, though, there were two of them. One large, one small. This is the more iconic sighting and the one that we see referenced most often. Mother and child, older sibling and younger, gender-based dimorphism in a breeding pair. We can only guess. Since then, eyewitness accounts have become commonplace, and so has art featuring this ultimately very goofy monster. Theories on its origin seem to center on the alien because, in the grand scheme of things, life on Earth has produced nothing quite like a pair of self-motivated trousers. Being a very recently discovered cryptid, there's no pre-existing record of the Fresno Nightcrawler. It doesn't come from an ancient legend or feature in any mythology of the area where it's found, nor is it a transplant from Europe or Africa or Asia. It stands alone on those two impressive legs, a uniquely Californian cryptid. Let's head out into the woods and see if we can't find ourselves a pair of pants. So my main goals for this design were to create something that comes in multiple sizes. We've seen this mechanic in Pumpkaboo, of course. Different sized Pumpkaboo can be caught in Generation 6, and they evolve into different sized Gourgeist. In Pokemon GO, you can also find Pokemon of different size classes as well. XXS, Regular, and XXL. These are the same designs, but scaled up and down. I wanted to make something that was a little bit different though, and incorporate a few poses relating to the sizes. Secondly, I wanted to figure out a novel method of movement for these pants. You might know that I'm a big fan of object-based Pokemon, and I was kinda tempted to be very literal with these guys, making them just haunted or otherwise alive trousers. But in the end I opted for something that I think is maybe a little weirder. Oh, trigger warning for spiders, by the way. Jump to the on-screen timestamp to avoid seeing any real arachnids. Behold, the yellow sac spider. A relatively common spider in California. I was drawn to it by its coloration. It ranges from super light yellow, almost an off-white, to an extremely light green. They can create silk tubes called retreats that they hide in during the day before coming out to hunt at night. And what are pants if not a couple of silk tubes stuck together? Or, other fabrics. Not all pants are made of silk. But you get the idea. So this little guy creates for itself a means of locomotion made of its own silk. It creates pants out of webbing and controls the movement of these pants with silken threads, so thin as to be invisible. Kinda like a puppet master moving a marionette. It grips on with its small front legs, and the other 6 manipulate the walking motion of the trousers so that it can take big long strides. They come in 3 sizes, small, medium, and large. Each size has a different pose, as you can see. The first two are pretty active looking, but my idea for the larger trousers was that if these things are made too large, they're just harder to move around in general, so the pose would be a bit more static. Anyway, the size of the Pokemon itself remains the same, but the construct it uses to get around is the thing that changes in size. They're all colored in off-white, as are the pants themselves. And here we have Pantom, the Nightcrawler Pokemon. Pantom construct long legs out of silk that they use to get around at night. During the day, these same constructs become handy portable nests for sleeping in. They control these legs with extremely strong silk, so fine that it's almost invisible. They use mysterious psychic powers to help avoid detection, and as such, it is unknown how rare Pantom really are. They're bug psychic types as alluded to in the Pokédex entry. This was mostly done to reference the alien aspect to the real-world Nightcrawler lore. Psychic is kind of the default cosmic or alien themed type after all. The shiny is a reference to the green hue of most night vision cameras, like the one that the Fresno Nightcrawler has been identified with. Your abilities are long reach. This means that its moves are not considered contact moves. It's swinging out those fake feet instead of making contact with its actual body. Hidden ability is quick feet. This boosts speed if there is a status problem. The name's just a goofy portmanteau of pants and phantom. Even though it's not a ghost type, it's rarely seen and is kinda creepy, so it seemed fitting. In terms of stats and moves, stats aren't affected by the particular form you've caught, nor are the moves. Stats aren't the greatest in the world anyway, but it does have pretty okay attack and speed, and it is defensively very frail. Because the whole thing about this Pokemon is its legs, you have a few kicking moves in there, as well as a few bug and psychic type moves to make use of those stab bonuses. So, where would you catch up to these guys? Sola has an analog to Fresno in Citrine Fields. This is a big town right underneath the wild area. Its roads branch out in a decidedly spider leg shape, and some of them encroach in on the wild area itself. That's where you'd find these Fakemon. They would be attainable in a sort of a mini-game where you use a camera to take photographs of the wild area, sort of like Smeargle in Pokémon GO. Each photo would have a chance to spawn an encounter with Pantom. Small Pantom would be the most common encounter, medium being much less common, and the large ones would be very rare. Again, stats and moves are unaffected by the size, so this would mostly just be an issue for collecting different forms for you completionists. There would, of course, be a guy who lives in town who desperately wants to see all the sizes and would give you some nifty rewards for showing him one of each. But that's what I got for you this time, trainers. Next month, we're delving a little bit further into the unknown. Can't wait to catch you then, but in the meantime, take care, trainers. Bye!